I'm sorry, kiddo, I really am. You have a good soul. And I hate giving good people bad news.
I'm Tony, he's Mike, and today we continue the month of love with 1946's Gilda.
There never was a woman like Gilda, or a picture like Gilda. Columbia's outstanding screen triumph starring Rita Hayworth with Glen Ford. One man bought Gilda, another hated her and hungered for her.
I hate you too, Johnny. I hate you so much that I think I'm going to die from it.
Gilda, inflaming men's hearts with a kiss or a song.
Amor mio, put the blame on Maine, boy. Put the blame on Maine.
Starring Rita Hayworth and is it Henry Ford?
Glen Ford.
Glen Ford. Thank you.
Yes,
Sorry.
Yes, and others. But if you're not an aficionado of classic cinema, you're probably not going to recognize any of these people. But if you are, you'll be like, I know that guy, that guy, that guy. So it's all good. But this is famously the film that Red was watching in Shawshank Redemption when Andy Dufresne came up and asked for the poster.
Okay.
So yeah, I love it when she does that thing with her hair.
Want to quickly go through the setup?
I was gonna say, two shady dudes meet in the street, and one of them invites the other to his place, and then turns out that he's a card counter, or
No. So let me go through this one for you.
Yeah.
So Glen Ford is Johnny. Johnny is a gambler, hustler. He hustles some guys with dice in an alley.
Yeah.
They didn't take too kindly for that, so they going to basically beat his ass. But he gets saved by Balin. Balin or Balin? Balin.
Sure.
So Balin's like, hey,
Wait, Ballin.
Sure, that, because he is. But anyways, I won't call him Balin. It's like, hey, if you want to gamble a little more straight up, come to this place.
There's a casino about a half hour the other side of town. Here's the key. But don't go.
Why not?
They won't let you use your own dice.
But wear a tie. So he goes to the place and he finds out that it's Balin's place. He gambles there, but he doesn't cheat with dice. This time he does some card mechanics.
Yeah.
Cut. What? Player's allowed to cut at any time.
And he gets caught, but Balin's no dummy. It's his place. He's a
He
smart
invited
man.
him there on purpose.
Yeah.
I think is what is implied there. So
Yeah. So anyways, he gets called up to Balin's office. He's like, hey, when I said to come here, I didn't mean, cheat me out of my money.
Oh, there isn't a dice table in the house.
Nobody wins that much money at 21, honestly.
I had a lucky streak.
A very deft way of cutting cards.
Took me years to learn.
yeah.
And Johnny's like, well, hey, if I work for you, I won't be cheating anymore, So
And I'll know how to catch the people that do come in here to cheat, to boot. So
exactly.
You'd simply have me gambling on the wrong side. Oh, it'd be better if you had me on your side.
I don't like my people to cheat.
I cheat with my own money, sure. But with your money, I wouldn't have to cheat.
So he gets a job, and they come to this agreement, the three of them, Balin, Johnny, and Balin's cane, which has a tip on it.
yes, it does.
And so, and they come to this agreement that, hey, it's the three of us, and women and gambling don't mix.
You're sharp, Johnny. Almost as sharp as my other little friend. To us, Johnny. To the three of us.
Well, Balin doesn't keep that promise. He goes away and comes back, and now he's married to Gilda. They get introduced.
Gilda, are you decent?
Me?
And from there, love, hate, insanity ensues.
I was going to say Noir ensues.
Yes.
So.
I would call no. I'm not gonna call this a noir.
It's considered a neo-noir.
I'm not gonna
So-
call that either, because she's not really a femme fatale in this regard.
She wants to be. She tries.
She tries, but really, I mean, it's a love story with a subplot of
It's a love story with additional angles.
Yes.
So-
yeah, with a because Balin is you come to find out he's running a cartel.
Yeah.
You know what a cartel is, Johnny?
I think so. A trust? A monopoly of some kind, isn't it?
Yeah, for tungsten and shit
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
An international monopoly.
Big business, huh?
Monopoly in what? Tungsten. That doesn't impress you.
Well, I don't know much about it. I mean, I don't know if it's worth getting shot at for the pleasure of monopolizing it.
Balin. I'm gonna call him Balin because one of us will be right.
Yeah.
But Balin has this not really well-defined past. You know that he did some shady shit during the war, but you don't know exactly what it is that he got up to. But he's got some business associates that are most definitely people that he met during the course of the war. His business plan is to essentially corner the market and have a monopoly, which is going to control the price of tungsten all over the world. So that's item number one. Then you have Rita that gets thrown into the mix. And Rita.
But to back up really quick, just to kind of cap off Balin's business here. So you see this little guy come in every now and then into the casino. He'll bet 1,000 pesos on 2.
Yeah.
And then he'll win, like guaranteed every time.
Number 2.
No more bets.
Number 2 black.
Negro Eldos.
Numero 2 noir.
Two black is the one.
Negro Eldos.
So he's got a hand in this, and it turns out that he is a local tungsten manufacturer, or he has raw materials or something like that. But either way, he has something to do with the supply of the tungsten. But he's getting cut out by Balin. Balin's cutting him out.
Nolan can't manufacture electric light globes without tungsten wire for filaments, Mr. Munson. He can't continue in business
We don't
without...
wish Mr. Bendolan to continue in business. Isn't that clear to you?
And then also you have these two German guys that are showing up at Balin's place, and they are the ones who actually gave Balin, or set him up essentially for the cartel. And now that the war's over, they want to reclaim that action.
We had an agreement with Munson that at the end of the war, he would turn our property back to us.
For a movie this old, the depth and the texture and the nuance of all the characters in this film is extraordinary. And this is just proof positive that crooked people have been around forever and always.
Oh, yeah.
And even though, the Hays Code came along and made them clean up cinema, supposedly, how the hell they snuck this one by? I mean, they must have rode the line all the way. Because Rita was original. Johnny. Rita and Johnny were involved in an undefined fashion, and Johnny hates her guts. And when
Let's assume that she jilted him.
Yes, it is
in a bad way.
Yes.
Johnny, let me tell you about that night.
I don't want to hear about that night. Can't you understand? I don't want to hear about that night.
And so when Balin comes back with Rita as his wife, the minute Balin is out of the country, while Johnny is running the casino for him because he's been a good, loyal employee, Rita is running around and she's basically trying to get a rise out of Johnny. She is doing everything she can to throw it in his face, and she's dancing with men at the casino of questionable things. She's leaving and going to other hotels with them, and Johnny's trying to pretend like this isn't eating away at him, but it is rotting his very soul.
Oh yeah, big time. And the funny thing is at first he doesn't really care too terribly much.
Evans, Johnny Farrell, all the way from New York. Isn't he pretty?
Just a darling. Now get him out of here.
If he leaves, I go with him.
That's all right with me, too.
But then Balin's like, I really love this girl.
Money doesn't mean very much to Gilda. If she should become restless, I'm mad about her, Johnny.
And so he's like, fuck, now I gotta protect your fucking ass. Now I gotta protect your ass, but I also make it look like you're this good girl.
Yeah.
And get this straight. I don't care what you do, but I'm going to see to it that it looks all right to him.
So not only does he aware of all the goings on, he has to participate in it by picking her ass up.
Yes, and
drop her off.
From now on, you go anywhere you please, with anyone you please. But I'm gonna take you there, and I'm gonna pick you up and bring you home.
It's like, that's some shit.
Yeah,
That is some shit.
It is delightfully evilly done. She is absolutely just thrilled with it, and I mean, like, for her character puts it out there as she's doing it because she's bored and she wants some excitement. She wants a little spice in her life.
Now deep down though, this is bullshit. Because there's several instances where she gives Johnny an opportunity to, like, hey, this shit really doesn't mean anything. I'm really into you. Why don't we try to reconnect? And she doesn't say it outright, but in so many words.
Yes.
Getting married on the rebound is so stupid.
Rebound from what?
You.
But he's just so pissed off by this because he's still angered from the first jolt, and then her current behavior isn't helping things at all.
Yeah, well, he's also trying to stay loyal to his boss, who he considers a friend. But then on top of all that, if anything should happen to Balin, Rita inherits everything.
Yeah.
Because, they're married, so it's legal now. So there's like all this rich subplotting and texture, and this is one of those films that the more you watch it, the more you're going to get out of it because of how deep and textured it is. Rita Hayworth is spectacular in this film.
Yeah.
And
so good.
If your connection with this film is only ever having seen that snippet in The Shawshank Redemption and you think it's a corny old movie, there's nothing corny about this whole movie.
Those insults and jabs that they get back and forth between Johnny and what's her name in the...
Rita.
No, Gilda.
I'm sorry, Gilda.
And Gildas are
Rita
vicious.
Hayworth, so.
I mean, straight up vicious. Yeah. Like there's one line that's fantastic where she's like throwing her shit and her activities in Johnny's face, and she's with this one guy, and her line is, "If I was a ranch, I would be called the No Bars Given" or something like that.
Something along those lines. Yeah.
I'll throw the clip up here, but basically it's like, anything and everything is open, sexually.
Let's go where we can have some fun.
Like I said?
Exactly like you said. Didn't you hear about me, Gabe? If I'd been a ranch, they would have named me the Bar Nothing.
When Johnny is staying at the house and Rita comes back with the guy to the house, and she's going to invite him in for a nightcap, and that whole bit there, that when he gives him a good one right in the face, and the guy's all like, oh, I thought I was tough, but yeah, screw this.
You're through for the evening, son. Scram. For 2 cents, you'd what?
I'm gone. I got shit to do, baby. You're hot, but not that hot. I'm not taking an ass whooping for a woman I met tonight.
So when the heat gets really heavy from the Germans on Balin, he fakes his own death.
Yes.
Gilda inherits everything. Johnny marries Gilda.
Yes, they rekindle their romance, and everything seems to be dreamy and wonderful. And then, the minute that everything is signed, and now Johnny is entitled to 50% of everything Rita had, he's all like, nope, hands off, baby. Sorry, you're on your own. Why don't you just stay in the house?
She didn't know then what was happening to her. She didn't know then that what she heard was the door closing on her own cage.
Yeah, so it basically just leaves her in the house. And then not only that, anytime she tries to escape or do anything else, Johnny's guys are right there to snatch motherfuckers. Like, she'll walk out of a club with a guy, get ready to get into a cab. She'll get in the cab. Johnny's guys will pop up out of nowhere, snatch the guy, and remove him.
Yeah.
So, what was it, Buenos Aires?
I believe they're in Argentina.
Yeah,
so
is essentially her prison. The whole fucking city. She cannot go anywhere without Johnny knowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then she goes back to the States, and then you see her dancing, and she see with this guy, this lawyer that's supposed to help her out. They go back to Buenos Aires.
To get divorced. She's supposed to go back to Buenos Aires to sign divorce papers so she can leave Johnny.
Yeah.
You told me your husband left you immediately after the ceremony. There's nothing to it. And I'll be with you, darling. I'll be right by your side every minute.
And they walk into that apartment, and there's fucking Johnny in the chair. The lawyer works for fucking Johnny. It's like, oh, it is so masterfully done. The shit that they put each other's through. I mean, I was gonna say,
done.
It's so fucking evil.
It's incredibly adult without being gratuitous or in your face. But it's all very seedy, and they get it all across. And they do it by, like I said, walking the line of the Hays Code. Like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. This isn't that kind of movie. Yes, it is. It is absolutely that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, it turns out that even though Rita was apparently married to Balin and that, she was doing all this running around, turns out that she was actually loyal to Johnny, that she never actually did get involved with anybody. And
do me a favor and get out of here before you realize what a heel you've been, will you, Mr. Farrell? I couldn't bear it to see you break down and feel like a human being. Gilda didn't do any of those things you've been losing sleep over. Not any of them. It was just an act. Every bit of it.
The moment that this happens, he realizes that he can forgive her and they can run off and live happily ever after because they got to get the hell out of Buenos Aires.
Yes.
So,
But Balin pops up at the end, surprised he's not dead, and is going to murder the two of them because they betrayed him. But the attendant, Uncle Pio,
yes,
I think is what his name is.
Yes, the guitarist,
stabs Balin, and inspector comes in. It's like, well, I'm not going to prosecute you because he was already dead to begin with.
Keep your mouth shut. You two can quit being noble anytime you like, because a man can only die once, and Munson committed suicide 3 months ago.
Double indemnity. Yeah. I don't know if that's a thing in Buenos Aires.
Besides, didn't you ever hear of a thing called justifiable homicide?
It is in this movie.
I was going to say, it's an incredibly smart script. It's an incredibly well-directed film. It is an incredibly well-acted film. And all of these characters, even though this is 80 years out, they're all still amazingly, relatable.
It's got some of the best dialogue ever on screen.
Yeah.
Those relationships between the three of them, you can feel the tension through the whole movie.
Yes.
It never stops at all to the very end of the movie.
And this is not a terribly long film either.
No, it's not. I think it's just under 2 hours, I think.
I think like an hour 55. Yeah, I think an hour 50, hour 55, something like that.
And it goes by so fast.
Yes, this is a movie that once you get sucked into it, you are on for the ride, and then when the ride's over, you're like, wait, what, that's it?
Yeah.
So it leaves you wanting more, like a good movie should.
And not only that, when you watch the second time, you really get those scathing remarks.
Yes.
Like he's like, oh, now that's what what that means. And it's like, oh, that's fucking vicious.
Yes. When you go back for seconds, and you will go back for seconds on this one, because you know how everything unfolds and you get the past of all these characters, so much more of it bites harder.
Like you wonder how people get slapped or punched or some of these verbal jabs. It's vicious.
Yeah, and this wound up in the month of love because I was just watching it because it showed up on the Criterion channel, and Mike was over at the house, and it was like, hey, what are you watching? Gilda. So voila, here we are. So
I mean, it's by far the best love-hate relationship ever put to film.
That's what I mean. It's the most curious love-hate pattern I've ever had the privilege of witnessing.
That sums it up perfectly. Don't ever remake this. Don't touch a stitch of it. Don't colorize it. It is exactly what it should be. Period, exclamation point.
Yeah.
Rita Hayworth is beautiful, and I know that she has lovely red hair or auburn hair, but you know what? I don't ever need to see Gilda in color. So just throwing that out there for you now.
Yeah, I need to watch another film with her in it. I did watch another film with Glen Ford in it, and it was called, I can't remember.
He did a lot of noir, and then he kind of shifted into westerns.
Yeah, this is also a noir. It was the movie where a bank teller gets stopped at her house, and this guy's like basically forces her to try to rob the bank that she's in. I'll throw it up here, but it was really good too. So I'll be more to some Glen Ford films.
Yeah,
after this.
I just want to encourage people to watch a lot more classic cinema.
Yeah.
They're classics for a reason.
Yes.
And this, This is a starter film. If you're not familiar with classic films, this is a great introduction to just how good a classic film can be.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So,
well, obviously you're going to recommend it.
Oh yeah, obviously recommend. If you're into classics, it's an absolute buy. Yeah, put it in your collection.
There you go. And, I already got the Criterion channel. I haven't bought this one on disc. I should. It's one of those that winds up in the cart, and then I think, I'll get something else. I'll get that next time. Yeah. But I love this film. It's a great movie. It's a highly recommend. So, and it's, like I said, it's relatable enough to where it gives you that warning about, be careful of the relationships that you're in or think you're in. So, you got anything else?
No.
No?
That's it.
We will catch you next time.